we're recording everything that you're going to see. Michael, we're good? Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we have a pretty extensive presentation, but it's all important information because this is a different lifestyle. And so the purpose of today's meeting in part is to educate you about what this Kuleana is for you, so you can make your decision whether you want to proceed or not. Michael, next. We have a quick agenda today in terms of what we're going to, the folks that we're going to have speaking on behalf of the department. Um, I just want to say on behalf of our chairman, Kali Watson, that it is an honor to honor the beneficiaries that have advocated for this Kuleana program and the lifestyle that they thought was important for their families. And so on behalf of Chairman, I want to acknowledge on his behalf the work that our beneficiaries have done, and also supported by your island commissioner, Randy Awol. So it's been decades since the last time we've offered lots like this, but under this administration, again, I do want to share Chairman Watson's honor for our beneficiaries who have advocated for this offering. With that, Randy Awol is on his way. He had a cultural event this morning, so when he does come here, I do want to also honor him by giving him a few minutes to speak on behalf of your island of Maui. I'm going to go right into the presentation with Julie Cachola. Julie, if you would stand, please. She has been an integral part to the Kuleana program over the years. Her mana'o is invaluable to what will be discussed today and the work that has been done over the years. So she will cover a lot of the information for the history, what the Kuleana program is. It's a specific program through the department that we support. And then Stuart Matsunaga, who is our land development division administrator, will talk specifically about the lots. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Julie. Before you start, Kalamai, I just also want to honor Blossom Fatera, who's in the back. Blossom, I know people know you, but I just want to honor all the work that you've done as well. And we also have Kaleo from the Kahikinui Association, who will also speak later. Kaleo, if you would stand up, please. So that's your representative for this community. Julie, take it away.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Cachola. I work in the planning office in the Department of Hawaiian Home Lands. And I'm also the Maui liaison, so I've been working with Maui homestead communities for many years. When I thought about how we would do this, we could do just the straight bureaucratic kind of like, here's the forms, here's the pala pala. But there's such a good story here, and there's so much that has been done that I wanted to give you guys that kind of background. And first of all, I want to say also congratulations, because you guys are in this room looking at possible lot selection, which is a big event. We're going to ask if you can save your questions till after we pow, and then we also have a virtual audience, and they can put their questions in the chat. We don't have any handwritten stuff, right? So they'll just, yeah, so raise your, after pow. And for those in the Zoom, you can write your questions in the chat, or if you want to talk to everybody, you can raise your virtual hand. So in 1999, we developed 101 lots up at Kahikinui. 75 awards were awarded, and there are remaining lots. So that's what we're doing today is awarding the remaining lots. So this orientation is unlike any other program. Okay, so what you're going to hear today is unlike any other homesteading program because we've only done it once, and it's at Kahikinui. So this is the second time we're doing it. So it's completely new. So hang with me. It's a different kind of program. We're going to look at the lands at Kahikinui. I'll explain what's called the Kuleana Homestead program. That's the different homestead program. And the other thing is, I know you probably want very specific information about, how do we do water? How do we do this? We're going to be scheduling we have scheduled 2 site visits, and you can sign up on the palapala in the back. And when you register, there's a chart table on next week, Friday and Saturday. So either day you guys can sign up for. Those of you, anyway, we'll go over this later in the thing, but I'm saying that the specific information we can also cover at the site visit. So today is kind of like an overview. If you're looking for specific information, the site visit is where we can get into that. Okay, so so go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, how many of you have been to Kahikinui before? Just show of hands. Okay, so you guys know. You guys know it's rugged, right? You guys know the situation out there. But I thought, I wanted to show some pictures while we're doing this. Go ahead, Mike. These are our lands, our Hawaiian Home Lands Trust lands on Maui. What stands out to you when you look at the map? Kahikinui, right? It is actually 70% of our lands, of Hawaiian Home Lands on Maui, is in Kahikinui. It's huge. Go ahead. It's not only a big part of a big part of our lands, it's a moku. It's the only moku we have in our inventory. It has 7 ahupua'a. We don't have anything like that. The other thing, if you look at the lands, they systematically took out all the forest reserves. Whenever you look at our lands, it ends at the forest, except for over here. It goes all the way up to the top. So this is a very special place. It's unlike any other land base in our inventory. So the blue lines are the 6 ahupua'a. If you look on I'm just going to give you orientation as to where the lands are. You see that the wind turbines on the left-hand side, that road going down, yeah, that's where the wind turbines are. You guys know where that is, right? So right after that, like they couldn't have come closer to our line if they tried. Right after that starts Hawaiian Home Lands. And it goes all the way till where the road hits the Makai at Manawai. So that's how you know where that area is, all the way up to the top. And yeah, so Pi'ilani Highway kind of comes through the middle there. Go ahead. Oh, I should say that at one time, the forest used to go all the way down to the ocean. It was just this glorious, magnificent forest. And today, the heart of the forest still exists on our lands. So this is actually on our lands. The heart of what the remnants of that forest still exist. Go ahead. As you can see, no trees here. There's a lot of denuded environment there happening over hundreds of years. But you see how, yeah, it's really beautiful, actually. Stunning kind of views, and the landscape are really unreal. Go ahead. And here are the culprits: the feral cattle, the feral goats, pigs, by the thousands have been taking over that place and has been basically killing our forest. And so we've been looking at how do we remove the ungulate so we can make our forest come back. This is by the shoreline. So this is a whole different environment when you get Makai, right? Dry area. But because it's dry, guess what? All the historic sites, very intact because it's dry out there. So a lot of the sites are still intact. Go ahead. Just to give you an idea. And this is the Piilani Road going through. Go ahead. Just to give you an idea. And this is also along the main road. This is kind of like a gathering place, Halepili we call it, where we have meetings. And we've been meeting there since 1992, or even before that. Go ahead. So we'll start into the Kuleana story. This alternative awards basically unimproved land. It minimizes DHHL's involvement because the idea at the time was we needed to get on the land as fast as possible. And anytime you get DHHL involved, that means more time. So the idea was minimize DHHL involvement, get us on the land faster. So a lessee takes the responsibility of developing the lot. Basically, it's taking over Kuleana. Under the program, the lessees have more independence, but more responsibilities. Go ahead. So the situation in 1992, right? Over 100 years of cattle ranching, the environment's going, the animals are taking our watershed down. You see this is water just sheeting off, right, into the ocean, full of mud and soil and contaminating our ocean waters because we don't have trees to hold them on the top. So thus we have archaeological sites that are being destroyed. Basically, nobody's paying attention. Nobody's managing the resources. There was a 25-year general lease to a cattle rancher that was expiring. And because of leaders like Puna De, Earl, Mo Moller, Aimokupali, Lehuapali, Blossom, Donna, Kavika Davidson, there was a handful of people that saw this and they said, do not renew this general lease to the ranchers. Give it to us, the people, because we can be your eyes and ears on the ground and we can help. So the planning office did its trip. They're going to look at different plans. What the community did is they developed their own. So this group is unlike any other group. Basically, they coalition together and they were clear about what they needed to do. They needed to deal with the long waiting list, the length of time on the waiting list. They had to deal with DHHL always not having funding. So we're waiting for funding. We're waiting for DHHL to build our homes. And we just needed to accelerate this. They're real clear about that. And also we had the resources, the natural and cultural resources needed protection. So they used to go to meetings and seriously, they used to watch what was happening. And they said, every meeting we go to, somebody is everybody's complaining, they're asking for money, they're asking for this, they're asking for that. And they decided at that point, we're not going to be like that. We're not going to be complaining and coming to the commission, asking them for this, that, the other thing, and complaining about it. We're going to do this differently. Go ahead. So they did research. And lo and behold, they found in 1983, there was a federal state task force report. This task force was like appointed by the governor and the Secretary of Interior, and they only had one thing to do. And that one thing was, how can you accelerate distribution of awards and leases? That's what they looked at. And they came up with, well, what they called alternative development models. And they said, you can change, you can adjust different things that would make things go faster.
Whoever's running can't hear.
So they had to
We don't have audio.
No, so loud.
So they came up with this criteria for ideal projects, and lo and behold, Kahikinui had all of these things. Go ahead. Basically, they came up with a very simple land use plan. It was very simple. Conservation up top, you have keep some hunting. We are going to be looking at growing forests. The community is right in the middle. Go ahead. On Makai was all about historic sites and preservation. So what they were able to do was stop the continual ranching at Kahikinui. They were able to, the small group of people were able to basically get to plan this land. And they were acknowledging that Maui couldn't do, I mean, DHL couldn't do it. We had one guy for the whole island. It's far away. Nobody's, there managing the resources. And they noticed that our policy was to build turnkey houses. So that's a lot of development. It's a lot of time that you have to wait. So the beneficiary strategy was, we're going to help you guys, DHL. We're going to help you. We're not going to ask for stuff. We're going to help you. So this is their vision statement, that the opportunity to create a new intentional community. And this is a real key word for them, intentional community, a community that they talk about and they formed, they envisioned. It's an intentional community at the Moku of Kahikinui, Maui, based on the Ahupua'a concept of land planning and land management, is feasible. And in that, we have the cultural, social, technological, and natural resources to live a contemporary Hawaiian off-grid lifestyle. So it's very different from Pakukalo, right? This is a very different idea. So they approached the commission with their plan, and they got unanimous approval in 1993. And I just want to note that I've been working for the department for many, many years, but I've never seen this done before. And what they did was, the commission day meeting, they came, they gave lays to every single one of the commissioners. And I'll never forget this. Mo, he said, okay, now everybody practice nodding your head, yes. It's like, it's not that hard to do. You can say yes. I just loved it because it was.
You get louder when it was unmuted.
Anybody who's listening online, could you please mute your microphone? If you have something to say, please put it in the chat. Mahalo.
There is no chat button.
No, we can't hear. It's very
Okay.
soft.
Okay, we'll do what we can, but turn up your microphone turn up your speakers as much as you can, and we'll do the best we can on our side. But in the meantime, please mute as you are disrupting the meeting. Mahalo.
Okay, well, you get the idea. So they got approvals, and then we actually did administrative rules. Now, if you know anything about how agencies run, they run on rules, right? So to have this program codified in rules was a big deal. So in 1998, we've had this program on the books. In 1999, they got their leases, and that's the last time we did it. We only did it once. We're doing it more now, but we only did it once. So this is a totally different program. To me, I like pictures because I need to understand what's the moving parts here. This is the concept that they presented to the commission. What they said was, if you look at the conventional homestead program, you get on the wait list, and what do? You wait. You wait. You wait. The average time waiting, over 23 years, right? And during that time, the department has to find the funding, right? It has to build the infrastructure, design and construct. We got to do subdivision. We got to contracted developer, we got to, but I mean, there's a lot of things that need to be done. And this is competing with the rest of the state. So during that time, what's happening to you guys? You guys are getting older. Average age is 61, right? The land is not utilized. Moreover, the resources are not being protected and managed. And bottom line, rehabilitation is not occurring. So at some point in the future, you get an award. You get called to a table like this. But guess what? If you don't qualify for a home loan, then really you cannot go to lot selection for the normal residential program, right? Conventional. So you wait on the list only to find out, oh, I cannot qualify. What these guys are saying when they approach the commission in the Kuleana program is they knew anytime you involve Hawaiian Home Lands, it's more time. So they looked at what was the minimum things that Hawaiian Home Lands had to do. Well, they got to do a settlement plan and environmental assessment. That's across the board we got to do. Other than that, do the meets and bounds, because once you have the meets and bounds, you can award. That's it. That's really it. Okay, unpaved roads so that you can access the lots. That makes sense. But what they're looking at is what is the bare minimum of DHHL involvement so that we can move the time frame and get these guys on the land sooner rather than later. And the idea here is give me the land when I'm 30 years old and I can do something with it. Not when I'm 70 years old and I cannot. So the idea was to bring the award earlier. And what happens is beneficiaries access to the land while this mind and body can build a home, grow crops, right? Community management responsibilities start happening, and then we can look at community economic development, right? This is the big vision. For Kuleana, I don't know if you know, so DHHL has exemption from zoning. Do you guys know about this? Sounds like we're getting away with some stuff, but it's actually authority. It's the commission has exclusive authority over Hawaiian Home Lands. So because of this, we can actually do our own zoning codes. We can do our own, right, land uses. So what this does is utilize those exemptions to help the beneficiary. To help the beneficiary. Because right now, we just meet the code. Well, even though it costs more, we'll meet it. But this one is saying, please use your exemptions to lessen that cost for us to build these homes. Come up with an alternate. Okay, go ahead. So conceptually, this is what we're trying to do, get people on the land earlier. So in the rules, they have specific things that we need to do. I'm not going to go over this. But one thing I want to bring up to you is this bottom one, because it says that you got to meet the county rules, the building code, zoning, and all of that, unless or until you have your own. And what it says is that the Homestead Association, in consultation with a licensed architect, may develop, adopt, and enforce its own zoning, building, and permitting process. We call it the Kanaka Code. Maybe you don't need the studs 12 inches apart. Maybe 18 is okay. Still going to stand up, right? So it has this ability to do this. The community association does. This is a very powerful thing that I'd like to see it more well developed. But anyway, go ahead. So the rules 10/30/31 Hawaii Administrative Rules, if you want to check it out, is a homesteading program for settlement of unimproved Hawaiian homelands. It identifies the different roles. So the commissioners have to select the site, which has already been done, have to select the wait list, which has already been done, right, the pastoral. They approve that building and zoning code that this community develops. Oh, okay. So, oh, I just feel like I want to cry. DTTL works to develop the settlement plan. Okay, this is all stuff that we've done in the past. But the applicants and the lessees accept the lot as is. That's the main thing I wanted to bring up to you folks today. And it also requires participation in the Homestead Association. We don't require that for any other place, only this place. Okay, so that's the rules. Go ahead. This is like the whole general process. We do site selection, we do a plan, we construct the roads, and then we award lots. And so that's kind of like where we are for you guys. For the others that have been there for 24 years, we can get into facilitating homestead development. And then, of course, the last goal, economic development, community-based economic development. Go ahead. So, who should participate in this program? That's what you have to determine. If you don't want to live in a typical residential subdivision, if you prefer to live like off the land, like this place is for you. If you value community, working as a community, actually participating in taking care of our resources as a community, this is a good place to be. If you cannot qualify for a conventional home loan, this is the place to be. If you have the ability, the resources, the drive, the networks to build your own house, this is the place for you. This is the kind of traits. You're rugged, if you like the rugged lifestyle. Off-grid, never have a utility bill again. Off-grid, totally independent. I'll tell you a story. When I go into a house there, I went to a house and they had their TV blaring. The lady was cooking something in her oven. I went to use the bathroom, it was a flush toilet with a shower. And when I came out, they were playing music. They had an amplifier on with 2 guitars plugged in, and they were playing music. All off-grid. All off-grid. And that was a concept for me, that they could do that. I'm going to segue into, so you see this picture on the side? This is the denuded area with no trees on the outside, the light green. And that line is a fence. What a fence can do to a forest, because it comes back. So we fenced it in, and look at the difference. You can see night and day. So but you cannot do that as an individual. That's why I'm talking community management. Community management, working with other partners. So just quickly, I'm going to go over some of the projects. This is just a very small sampling of what they've done. They did a first census of the ungulates in that forest. Look at the numbers. I mean, and they were able to separate it by species. How many cows, how many goats, right? How many pigs? That's a lot. Go ahead. This is what Jake Muse. We did a regional plan for Kahikinui with the department. We did a meat salvage program with Kia Hawaii. So they're, good meat available. We need them out of the forest, but it's food. Go ahead. We did a wildfire protection plan, right, with the Leeward Halakala Watershed Partnership Group and the Community Wildfire Program. So we actually were one of the first communities to do that. Go ahead. We're looking at different methods. How do you restore a forest? How do you stop the erosion? Go ahead. Different restoration techniques. It's like almost like research, right? Because they're studying different ways of how we can bring these trees back. Go ahead. Cultivating seed farms with Uhibai, which is the Leeward Haleakala Watershed Partnership Group. They're helping a lot. Doing the seed collections, the storage, because you can't just plant any seeds, got to be the seeds from that area. Okay. And this is a big one. We have this fog drip capture program. So one thing that happens in Kahikinui is the clouds come in every day like clockwork. Same place every day. So this professor from Hilo, long time ago, came over and said, you know what, we think we can capture water from the clouds. And so he did it. He went around the world, showed all these other places how to do it. And he came back home and he said, I gotta do Kahikinui, because this is where it started and I didn't ever get this thing on the ground. So we're actually working on this project that catches the cloud mist up Mauka, and then we're gonna run the pipes down to Makai where the people can access that water. So this is a big project that we're doing now, but this is all with the community. So in terms of your documentation, you're gonna pay attention to two main documents: the pastoral lease and what's called the CCNR, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Do you guys know what this is? Like you're in a condo association, you have these, they're kind of like rules. So it's between these two documents that specify what you need to do. I'm just gonna say the number one things, I'm not gonna go through 160 pages for you, but the number one thing is that you have to basically be on Maui within 2.5 years. And then you have another 4 years to build a house. Another big thing is that you need to build a house. You need to reside there. It's not like a regular pastoral program where it's optional. It's like, because it's Kuleana, it's like you have to actually set up permanent residence there. That's a major thing. I think that's the major thing right there. Go ahead. We can get more detail later, but I know it's getting long, so. Sign-ups for site visits, go ahead. So Friday, November 17th and Saturday, November 18th. It's either or. We want you to meet at the gate at Kahikinui at 8 o'clock. Why? Because the clouds start coming in at 10. So it's between the 23-mile marker and 24-mile marker, Mauka of the road. Yes, I'm gonna leave this on, take pictures, whatever you gotta do. We need four-wheel drive. You need four-wheel drive to go on. So when you sign up on the chart, you can say, yes, I will have, or no, I don't have. And we will try to accommodate you with the four-wheel drives we have. We need to know the applicant name, contact information so we can confirm. We want to know whether you're coming from off island or whether you're coming from on island, and whether you have a four-wheel drive vehicle. You know, how many people you're planning to attend. So for those of you virtually, if you can email me at that address, julie-and.kachola@hawaii.gov. You guys over here, there's a sign-in sheet in the back that you guys should sign in before you leave. We meet at 8 o'clock, then we're gonna go up first because the clouds. And then after and it takes a while to go up. And then we'll come back down to that halepili I showed you, and we'll meet over there and talk story. The advantage of the site visit is that you're gonna be talking to the lessees who have been there for 24 years, who know what it's like to live there, how it is to build a house there, how to deal with water and everything else. For those of you on Maui, if you can bring bottled water, everybody should bring bottled water, but if you could bring folding chairs would be good too. I'll leave this up for a little while. This is a good segue to call up Kaleo, who is the, Kaleo Cullen is the president of Ka'ohana o Kahikinui. Ka'ohana o Kahikinui is the association that is identified in the DCCNRs.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Kaleo Cullen again, and welcome. Congratulations on your notice to select a lot in Kahikinui. Now I'm gonna get right to the brass of things, man. It's not easy living up there. As you know, I'm a part of the first wave of lessees that signed our lease in 1999, and it's been a ride. It can be done though, but it's been a ride. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get into the meat of the off-grid because it is purely off-grid. No water, no electricity. Although I do have refrigerator, I do have water, so it can be done. At the time I was young, I had family, so trying to juggle work and family at the same time was kind of difficult. 20 years went by, my roof's still not done, but it's dried in. Yeah. So looking forward to seeing you Friday and Saturday. If you have questions to ask, we'll be there. At this time, I'd like to recognize some of the board members. Do I have any of Kauhana board members? Please stand. Aole. Okay, I know you guys shame. But anyway, at least raise your hand. We have Elama Farm here. He's one of our board members, one of our 7 board members. And he's way up in Akua Hivis. You can see his house from the road. It's actually one of the highest lots up there. But if he can do it, anybody can. Okay? So with that being said, I'll be around for some Q&As. I'm going to leave at about 11:01, so stand in line. Okay? Well, hope to see you guys next week, okay? And good luck. Bring some jackets or something because it's going to be cold. Aloha.
Mahalo. Mahalo, Kaleo. Stuart, next slide, please, Michael. Stuart, you want to come this side, please? Stay on this side so the
Aloha. I'm Stuart Matsunaga. I'm the administrator for Land Development Division. Let's give a hand to Julie for that presentation because she really has her heart in this. When she was talking about, oh, the department take long time for develop, I think she was talking about me. Okay, but I'll get into the available lots. I see a lot of people taking notes with on the PowerPoint. That PowerPoint is going to be on the DHHL website, so you can go back and look at it at your leisure, and there's some lot of good information there. So next slide, please. What is being offered are 24 lots. There was a handout that provided you a matrix of the lots and the particular conditions of that lot. We do have meets and bounds. It was surveyed. The lots were actually staked, front and back property corners. Not sure if the pins have maybe moved or miraculously disappeared, but we can get to that later when the awards are actually made so that you can see front and back where the property starts and ends. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so lot 18 and 95 were removed. Lot 18 contains a reinternment site that had been committed to the association. And so that's off the table. Lot 95 contains drainage issues that not ideal for homestead development, but I understand that there's some concern about some of these lots that because they are so-called Kuleana lots, that any lot up there could be homesteaded. And so we would like to hear from you if that's something that should be considered. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, you also had in the back of the matrix a map. The yellow shows the 24 lots which are available. Next slide. Each of the lots will have will show the meets and bounds as well as um, the known archaeological sites. Some of the lots do have EV kupuna. There are probably more that may have not been located, but you know, this is something that as the caretaker of the land that you need to malama, and there are certain rules regarding you know, when if EV is located on the parcel, there's a National Graze Protection Act that needs to be followed, and there'll be there's the protocol for communication with State Historic Preservation Division, Burial Council, etc. Okay, so if that should happen, the department will be there to assist you in that. Next slide. Okay, so this is just an example of some of the information that is available. So there will be very detailed information that's attached to whatever lot is selected, and will provide this kind of information for you. Thank you. So again, we have, this is the meets and bounds. This will tell you where your property starts, what angle the line goes in, um, how it curves around. And let me get to the next slide if I can. I thought there was one. Okay, so Mike, if you could get back to the last slide. Okay, so you see this this lot borders the roadway, and um, there are certain setbacks for constructing your home. So that's indicated on that plot plan. There also may be drainage easements. Um, there's also situations where, you know, because of the condition of the road, when it rains, you know, it might tend to puddle or get washed out. And so there's a lot of workarounds that are there now where the road may be going through a property. Okay, so this is something that we all got to deal with. You know, we're not going to go back in and reset the road. The road is, the dirt roads or gravel roads are where they are. What DHHL is doing is that we're and Kalamai Mike, if you can go back several slides to the map. Okay, right there. Okay, so you see that S curve. There's right up there. So DHHL constructed concrete road there about 2 years ago. And so we have another increment of road that we have funding for, miraculously, to get to, if you, Mike, if, oh, right, yeah, okay, right there, right there. It ends right there. Okay, that's a location where there's a lot of drainage issues, and to mitigate that is gonna, you know, it's gonna take millions of dollars, but this is about as far as we go, and um, as far as the funding that we have at this point. Okay. Okay, we can go back. Oh, that one, wait, okay, sorry. One more back. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is what I was talking about, where you have certain easements for drainage. That's that blue section on the back. The front area is along the road. There's a setback and for roadway and utility purposes. So there is, and I think Julie mentioned, there's a sandwich house communication line that is buried within the roadway. So you could have telephone. Um, I guess you could have internet too, right? I'm not sure how good it is up there though. Maybe Kaleo knows. Um, okay, so okay, we can go back to sorry, color my mic, yeah. Okay, next. Um, so as Julie did mention, it's mostly unpaved roadways. The access is as is. There's sheet flow drainage. There's no real collector system. There's no potable water, so you catchment or haul in. There's no sewers, no cesspools are allowed, and so if you do construct your hale, then individual wastewater systems, or if there's alternates by Department of Health, then you could utilize that. Sandwich House is there. There's no Hawaiian Electric. Um, Property pins were installed with markers. Um, and there are existing easements for setbacks. And just be aware that um, if there's future road construction, that there may need to be lease amendments because of where the road will go or will have to go. This last section of road that we're doing, we actually are too close to an historic site, and so we have to move the road around it to avoid it. And so there's one or two leases that we're going to have to amend, and so we will be speaking with those lessees later, and I want to ask Kaleo for some assistance on that later so we can communicate effectively with whoever that is. Okay, next. Um, Julie, this is a lot of what Julie had mentioned about the association members required to maintain roadways, their own expense, maintain property pins, the landscaping, dust control, road frontage. Very important to minimize the erosion, um, maintain historic features, maintain the drainage, um, county building permit unless the association comes up with their own code. Department of Health approval needed for septic systems, and checking lot description for home building setbacks. Next slide, please. Okay, so that takes care of my part. I'm gonna turn it over to Paula, but real quickly, if I could. For those of you who might not be Grizzly Adams, I just wanted to say that for Maui, we have a lot of residential projects in process. We have 161 lots being constructed in Waikapu. We have about 67 lots in Keokea Waihuli. That was part of the undivided interest. That's going to start construction shortly. We also have projects in another project in Waikapu, as well as in Wai'ehu, that is going through the environmental assessment process. And then on the west side, we have villages of Leali'i that we're working on getting a developer to start residential construction there. We also have subsistence ag lots in Honokowai that being designed right now. So there's plenty stuff that going to be happening, and just wanted to inform you about that. So mahalo for your attention. Aloha.
You know that you can have a be on the list for pastoral and residential, right? Or ag and residential. So you can have 2 leases. But because with this program, you're required to build a house and reside there, it's like you're only going to have this one. So if you're looking at these other projects that Stuart's talking about, if you're on the residential list and want to get that kind of house, don't take this one because this one is going to be a twofer kind of thing because it requires residential. Okay.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Stuart. A lot of information, and I just want to mahalo all of the work that planning and land development has done, not just for today, but just really decades of work. So if we can all mahalo them, please, and just applaud all the work that they've done. So it's a lot of information to just absorb. Of course, you're going to have some time after today to just kind of, soak it all in. As it was mentioned earlier, we will have all of the information that was presented today, the slides, the recording of today's meeting, and everything, the photos, the video, the drone video will be up on our website at dhhl.hawaii.gov. If you go there and look on the home page for a tab that says lot and offers, click on there and you'll see everything regarding this particular offering. So the mailing packet that you got, the letter, the FAQs, the maps, all of that is already up on the site. So I want to mahalo Stacy from Information and Community Relations to help us get that up on the website. And it's always just to keep you folks informed every time we're presenting new information. I'm going to jump into lot selection, which happens after today. That's going to be on December 2nd. And just what we're looking at, the process, the ground rules, so on and so forth. It will be here, same location, from 9 to 2 p.m. We're giving it a little bit more time because it takes us a while to go through the lease signing and notary process. It will include the list that we're working with is those that are on a relocatee list for the island of Maui and the Maui Island-wide pastoral list, which is the majority of you folks. When I call the names, it will be ranked by order, in rank order, which is what we call. And what happens between now and this meeting is some folks will decide that this is not the chosen lifestyle for themselves. It happens at every offering. For some reason or another, they decide to just defer and wait for another opportunity. So far we had about, as of the other day, I think about 80 that sent in their interest form. We initially went out to the entire pastoral list of over 500, and that is typical of when we do offerings because we get a good portion that just don't respond. So we filter that out. Then for those that actually show up, some will defer again. So the list gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So even though it's only 24 lots, that doesn't mean that all 500 is interested. We're gonna go by those that submit the interest forms, okay? So if you're interested after today, the deadline is, it'll be on the next slide, but it's November 13th after today's meeting, which is Monday. Now, you may say, well, that's not enough time. If you're still unsure, just send it in anyway. And between now and lot selection, if you decide you're not interested, then you just defer, you don't have to show up, right? But those that send us the response form will get an invitation letter to the lot selection meeting. Only those that send the response form. If you don't send it in, you will not receive an invitation letter, okay? I'm sorry, Michael, go back. A proxy. If you're not able to be at the lot selection meeting, you can have someone by proxy select your lot should your name be called. In order to do that, we have a form that we will send out with the invitation letter. You have to assign that person's name and get it notarized. That proxy needs to bring the original notarized form to the lot selection meeting. Don't drop it off at the district office. Don't mail it to us. That person has to bring it with them. Unfortunately, if they don't bring that original with them, they will not be able to select. So it's a key point to remember. You also need to bring a current picture ID, state military driver's license, in order to select. If by chance we called your name and we passed you, if there are lots available at the end, you may have an opportunity to select, should lots be available. Next, Michael. We also over invite people or send the letters out because we want to create a backup list. Even after the fact that someone selects a lot, they may determine at some point in time that they cannot proceed. And so they will let us know, I'm sorry, I want to pull out and defer. They go back to the list, and then we go down the backup list and call people and say, are you interested? Okay, and it's by rank order. Once all 24 lots have been awarded a 99-year lease, then we're done. The backup list expires. You remain on your respective list, whether it's the relocatee list or the pastoral list. You do not go to the bottom of the list. You go back to your place. Next, please. Deferrals, as I already mentioned, you can defer after today or at any time, or you just don't show up and we'll treat it as a deferral. You'll stay on your place on the list. Next. Just in terms of today's meeting, November 11th, the response forms are due on Monday, December 2nd, which is lot selection. There's three things that are going to happen that day. We'll call your name. You go to a table that has the map. You'll select your lot. You actually physically write your name on there. We're going to cut the leases that day, which is different. Usually there's a time factor, and we do the leases later. In this case, we're going to do it on the day of lot selection. You'll also, we're going to have representatives from the Maui District Office that will be taking appointments for your successorship. It's really important that we always advocate you select a successor in case something should happen, heaven forbid, at least it passes to that successor. So we'll be taking appointments the day of lot selection. They'll set it up for you folks, and then you can go to Maui District Office and take care of that after the fact. Next, please. Oh, and I'm sorry, go back. The last box in blue, planning is, Julie is working with the community, I believe, to do some post workshops on the Kuleana program, because it is a lot of information. Next, please. Again, I already stated the dates, important dates. Next. Just want to recognize and honor all of the team members at the Department of Hawaiian Home Lands who do this work to get us to this point. Individual names from Maui District Office, Information and Community Relations, the Contract and Awards Division, and of course, Planning and Land Development. So mahalo to our staff who do this work. Next, please. Before we go into Q&A, and I know the meeting is supposed to end at 11, but we'll be here. So for those that want to continue past, it's not like we're running away at 11, okay? And then we also have folks on Zoom that will also have questions. Is Commissioner Awo back here? If you would come up, please. Come, LMI. Don't be shy. I know you're not that shy. Thank you for joining us, Commissioner.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome and congratulations for making it to this list and being here for this opportunity. We are wishing all of you well. That we have this has been something that's been in the making for a long time. So I appreciate your patience. I appreciate everyone being here today. Kahikinui is unique, as many of you know. It requires a special kind of person and family to occupy that space and to turn it into something special. But people who have committed themselves to that lifestyle, they have done very special things. And the experience is unique and special. So I'm wishing all of you well, and I hope when that opportunity is afforded to you, you can also experience the very special and unique quality and character of Kahikinui. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Commissioner. We're going to open it up to Q&A. If someone can help me. Thank you, Kelly. So, Michael, you let me know when we have something online, but anyone in the audience, please, and Kelly will bring the mic to you. Don't be shy. It's the time to ask your questions.
Aloha. I'm wondering if there is a size requirement for the hale that's on the land. Can you put like a tiny home?
There are tiny homes up there, but Julie.
The DCCNR say you cannot have a mobile home, trailer home, right? Kaleo, right? But this is a community document. I'm encouraging you guys to look at that. You know what I'm saying? The way it is right now, it says, no mobile homes, no trailer homes. Yeah, it has to be a permanent kind of home. But yeah, but this is your community and your document, right? That's the advantage of this program.
Yeah, so permanency to the ground, that's key. Sounds like the size, you can do a tiny home. I've been up there and I've seen several. Kaleo, anything else in regards to the height limit? 30 feet? She was asking if there's a minimum size to construction of the home.
You know what? There's no minimum size, but what I do tell everybody is live within your means. You know, start small. Don't build something big that you're going to be like me. 20 years later, I'm still building them. So live within your means, budget accordingly, and make sure it's safe for you and your ohana. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kaleo. Next question? Yes, sir.
So I put in a few leach fields and septics myself. There's only so many ways you can do it. Is there like a fee that you have to pay to get some like approval or anything with this? Or is it just approved by this architect that you have on site? Or for the department?
Stuart?
Kalama, I didn't hear all of the question, but it was about fees.
Is there a fee? And like I said, there's only so many ways you can do that. So do they have like a pre-approved, like in the can plan, like say a system that you could just get and put in? Or do you have to pay a fee? Like normally you go to an architect, you pay a fee, then you go to the county and you got to get your building permit, you got to do a fee.
So I'll try to repeat the question. So it was regarding if there are package type homes or what kind of fee would you have to pay uh, to an architect and building permit wise. And so basically, yeah, the construction, the house construction is your own Kuleana. You can build whatever size or, there are package homes that different like Hansador or HPM have. They're already like permitted. Excuse me, not permitted, but they're approved, but you still have to pay for the permitting fee for it. So there are different kinds of packages, or a lot of times, people would be like an owner builder, and then, you can get an architect to do that because echoing what Kaleo was saying, it's got to be safe, yeah? So you don't want to have something that is going to be, harmful to your ohana, that it's safe, that the thing won't stand up, yeah? So yes, there are various fees that is like any owner builder will have to pay for.
The best advice I can give is come to the site visit and talk to the lessees, because you can have one-on-one with them. They can explain to you what they did, how they did it. I would highly recommend that.
Yeah, the main point is to, where you're going to site your house and the foundation, because you don't want your house to be slipping away or something. And, there's a lot of rock, but there's also soil, and you got to be aware of the compaction and things like that. So that's what your architect or your engineer would provide to you.
Stuart, it does have to go through Department of Health for a leach field he was asking about. Yep.
Yeah, so your waste disposal system would be what they call on-site wastewater system, individual, and that would be a septic tank with a leach field to drain off. So at least it'll provide some coverage of the bacteria and whatnot. So there's other kind of more sophisticated things, but then they cost a lot of money. I think septic tanks right now with the leach field running around 30,000.
Thank you, Stuart. Before we go to you, Auntie, we have one online question. We're going to come back here, Michael.
Hello. Oh shit. Dad. You. What are you doing? It's okay. Hello. Oh,
Can you turn down your speaker, please? Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now I connect you. Gregory Lee, 87. Hello? Sorry, we can't hear you. We'll come back.
Go ahead now. Unless you want to type your question into the chat.
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay. So the question was relating, I'm speaking for my dad right here. He's handicapped. For the site visit, is it safe for him to come? He's in a wheelchair.
It is a four-wheel drive experience. It's going to be an individual decision. I can tell you. So, okay, so What Julie is saying is if you want to bring Papa, just meet at the bottom by the gate. At least you can get information there. It's up to you whether you want to bring Papa up on a four-wheel. I will tell you that I recently went up myself, and some of the areas are a bit rough. So, Kaleo, I don't know if you have an opinion on or it's just an individual choice.
You know, the roads, yeah, it's pretty rough out there. What I would suggest, though, is you partner with someone who has a reliable four-wheel drive to make it safe for dad to come up. That's probably
Okay.
the only way we can accommodate you. But yeah, partner with somebody who has a safe vehicle for him. I don't
Okay.
know about traversing the land because it's kind of rough, rocky. So you look like you're sturdy. You can walk. Maybe you can go and walk the property for him to
Thank you.
give him a
One
good
more
assessment.
question. One more question. On the CCNRs say there's no mobile homes and things of that sort, but nowadays they have very beautiful container homes that are not as expensive as like the Hansador package homes. So you can get a beautiful container, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom container home that doesn't even look like a container, but it's completely off grid. Are those types of packages or construction options available or allowed?
I would say yes, because there is one of my neighbors. One of the neighbors has a container home there, and they're living out of it fine, just fine. You know,
Okay.
they had to reinforce the roof and everything, but because the winds get real, like a blizzard up there. So yes, container homes can.
Thank you very much.
As long as
That's
it's
all.
permanent to the ground. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kaleo.
I wanted to ask Kaleo about if he has homeowners insurance.
Yeah, as far as homeowners insurance, it's kind of difficult because of having problems with fire mitigation and stuff. But I guess once we address that to bring water into the community, I think the insurers will be a little bit more lenient when it comes for homeowners insurance. So right now, no, unless you can seek out an insurance carrier that can cover you. But until we can mitigate the fire problems and stuff, a lot of insurers really hesitant to give you a policy.
Thank you, Kaleo. Next question. On this side, Blossom.
So, no, I don't need that. All right, can everybody hear me now? Like this? You know, this bug is still you an echo, but okay. You know, I want to thank Julie for that historical background on the development of Kahikinui, but she actually left out a couple of key elements here. So in 1997, after they approved the Kuleana homesteading rules, the commission approved a map that had 125 lots on it. So in 1999, when the lots were actually offered, there were only 105 lots made available. Of those 105 lots, 77 were awarded. Over the years, 2 of them were sent back to the department, so that left a total of 75 lots that were under lease agreement. So that leaves 28 lots, okay, that were unawarded, or actually 30 lots. Now, if you add in the other 20 lots that got taken off, that means that there's actually 50 lots available out there. Now, my understanding is that of those 50 lots, 5 of those lots were actually incorporated into the community area. Another 2 lots also incorporated and identified for community use. So over the years, the department in dealing with community requests for community areas in their homestead area have informed the communities and beneficiaries. They've continued to emphasize that the duty of the department and the commission is to provide homesteading opportunities, not community areas. Um, and after looking at all of the records since 1997, I could find no record of the Hawaiian Homes Commission reducing the number of lots that would be available to people on a wait list. And there was no record of, I'm sorry, I can't see my notes. And there was no record of setting aside lots for community use. So when we got the opportunity, the letter in the mail that said we get 26 lots, I already asked the question, I got no response. We come today, now we only get 24 lots. Somebody decided that we cannot homestead certain areas in Kahikinui, and therefore those lots got taken away. I don't know about the guys in this room, and I don't know how many people are on Zoom today with us. There are 646 people on the wait list. I don't know about the other 645 people on that list, but for me, if my calculations are correct, at the minimum, there should be 30 lots available, okay? -1 because one of those lots was designated for kupuna iwi, okay? We all good with that, right? Where's the 29 lots? Why are we only being afforded 25? And if I wanted to be really aggressive, I would be asking, where's the 49 lots? Okay? I don't know how many people are in this room, and I don't know how many people are on Zoom, but I think there's more than 24 people that are looking for lots in Kahikinui. And so I posed a question to the department, and I asked my commissioner, Randy Awo, to help us resolve this issue, okay? And I'm asking all of you guys to do this because we've waited 4 years through advocacy efforts with the commission and the department to get these lots out, okay? It's finally here. And I'm gonna stand up here and I'm gonna make more trouble for the department and say, what are the rest of the lots? Okay? Do we have to wait another 5, 10, 20 years before these lots come available? I'm 64 years old. I get 13 grandkids, okay? I don't want 20 years. And like me, I want as many of us as possible on that wait list to get an opportunity to take a lot in this place. Okay, mahalo.
Next question, online or here in the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Aloha, everyone. I just wanted to ask in the beginning of the meeting, you folks showed a picture of the moku of Kahikinui, and it's being very, very big. I just curious, will they open up more pastoral lots? Being that it's so big, would there be more pastoral selections?
I think we're going to have to take that question and Blossom statement back because we don't have that answer today. I'll just be forthright. We're focused on the 24 lots that we know of certainty today. So I don't myself want to give false hope. I think that's a discussion that we have to take back. We hear what Blossom is saying. As I said, she's been a strong advocate for Kahikinui, working with Commissioner Awo. So that's the best answer I can give you truthfully at this time. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, please, online.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I had a question regarding it being a pastoral lease. I didn't hear anything being mentioned about having to raise any type of livestock, or is that not a requirement because it's a residential / pastoral type of lease?
Julie?
Yeah, it is a pastoral lease. The lots are about 10-acre lots, so how many head of cattle you can raise on that. But you can also grow crops. You can also grow plants, and have animals. So it's kind of like old style homestead where you can have a very
Never.
different things on it. It's not just pastoral. So it has more flexibility with this one.
Okay. And then can I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead.
So that question would be, being that it's a combined type of lease, pastoral and residential, if the lessee is only on the list for pastoral, would that still qualify them for this opportunity?
Yes, it's a pastoral lease under the Kuleana program.
So you don't have to be on the lease for residential and pastoral. Like, let's say we've already been awarded a residential lease. We are on the list for pastoral. Is that sufficient to be a recipient of this lease?
So you can be on two, but you can only have one house. That's the rule. So if you already have a house, but you want to do this pastoral gig, then you need to find a kid, like bid the house to somebody, and you can do this. But you only can have one house.
Okay, so we already, residential lease was already transferred to another family member. So the lessee is currently on the pastoral lease only, so they would qualify.
The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you for your question. I just want to time check us. It's 11 o'clock. Do you folks want to go for another 15 minutes? Okay, let's keep rolling till about 11:15. Next question, please. Yes, sir.
Hello, from Maui. When is the Punane pastoral lots opening up? Punane, Maui.
Stuart. The question is, when is the Pulehunui lots opening up?
So in Pulehunui, we have it's primarily designed for agricultural use, and so we completed a master plan environmental assessment for that area. So part of Pulehunui would be commercial industrial, and then there's a piece that's about 646 acres that that is planned for agricultural use, not pastoral leases.
Thank you, Stuart.
We don't have a schedule for that yet. That's yet to be funded. Oh,
Thank
and
you.
then so maybe I use this opportunity, public address kind of thing. You know, in order for us to build these subdivisions, we get our funding from the legislature. So it's important for everyone to talk to their legislators. I think right now the chair of the finance committee, Kao Yamashita, is this is his district. He's been really helpful to DHHL to fund a lot of our Keokeawai Huli projects. And so I would continue to advocate with him for funding for the department's projects and even for Kahikinui, because without the legislators' help, I'm going to be slow, like Julie is saying, yeah. So I just wanted to put that out to everyone. And we're going into lead session now, so now's a good time to start talking to your reps and senators. Okay, mahalo for that.
Thank you, Stuart. Before you leave, for those who are heading out the door, remember if you want to do the site visit, Sharice is in the back table. Sign up there. You cannot just show up because there's a gate. So you won't be able to just show up and get past that gate. Yes, sir.
Hi,
I'm
good
sorry,
morning.
Michael. I'll come back.
My question is, how much more pastoral land is going to be awarded aside from the Kahikinui Homestead in the near future? I'm 78 and I don't have too much time. So is there going to be any more pastoral lands that's going to be awarded later on in the near future? Or could the beneficiaries on the pastoral land be transferred to the ag land, which is more available?
Yeah, so Uncle Kalamai, I think it's related to the question that this woman asked earlier and Blossom's statement. I don't have the answer for that right now. So that's something that needs to go back to discussion within Chairman's office.
In 2015, I wrote a letter to Joby regarding pastoral and ag.
Kalamai, Uncle. Excuse me, if we can keep the noise level down so we can hear the questions, please. Thank you. Go ahead, Uncle.
When I wrote the letter to Joby because I talked to her in that meeting in 2015 about the list of the pastoral beneficiaries. At that time was 500 and something on the list. And she said in her response to me, there weren't going to be any pastoral lands awarded because of legality issues. And I'm assuming it's, if everybody would keep quiet, then maybe you guys can hear. Now my question was, in 2015, I talked to Joby. At the time, she was the director of Department of Hawaiian Home Lands. And regarding the list of people on the pastoral land, at that time, I believe it was 580 something people on the list. And she said they won't be awarding pastoral lands because of some legality issues. And I'm assuming it's the one that was on the Big Island where they had some problems. I never got an answer back from her of what they were going to do. And it was signed. I sent it registered certified mail, so I returned receipt requested. But I never got an answer. So that's my question now is, what are the Department of Homelands doing to kind of get that list down? Because on my side, I'm number one on the list. I've been, between myself and my sister, we've been on the list since 1967. It's 57 years on this list. And nothing has happened. So the question is, if it would be possible to get the people from this list to take them back down to ag list according to their ranking in the pastoral, or to the residential list according to their ranking in the pastoral and the time frame that they have been spent on this list.
Kalamai, I don't have background on that situation that your discussion with then Chair Masagatani. But what you're suggesting as far as um, changing lists or changing, from pastoral to agriculture, that requires commission action. I mean, if you wanted to move from pasture to ag list or residential, then right now you can do that, but just that you wouldn't, you go to the, yes, yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. So the idea is to integrate one's pastoral application into the ag list or residential list as of your date of application. Yeah. Okay. So that is something that is commission action, and so and possible rule change. So that's a long process. That's not something that can happen like overnight. So, but if that is something that you would petition the commission, then that is probably the way to go. And Kalamai, if there was no response from former chair.
Thank you, Stuart. Michael, we have a question online.
Aloha.
Aloha, Princess.
Aloha. Good to see all of you. I just want to say thank all of you who came today. I'm on Oahu. I wasn't able to make it today, but I got my son there. My son is now in his 30s, 40s. He lost an opportunity to be raised on a sacred land of Kahikinui. But he stands there among you folks. I'm on Oahu right now because I couldn't be able to make it. But he stands among you folks right now, trying to see how he can get me as his mother on top of a land that was awarded to me back in 1993. I feel bad going on the land before Uncle. I think Uncle and his family should go on the land first before me for waiting that long. But I have some questions. My number one question is my son is there. He's 1/4 Hawaiian from me. I am half, my mama is pure. My question is, can my son can be the successor to these acres of these lands of pastoral? My question again, can my son, who is 1/4 blood, because I am half, can my son be the successor under me on these lands of pastoral?
Princess, are you on the pastoral list?
Yes, I am. I have been on the pastoral list since 2004. I have sent in all my information. I have only been coming to the meetings, if you guys have been listening, for the past 9 years for the Kahikinui pastoral.
Okay.
I am on the pastoral list. I have sent in my information. They have gotten it already. I am invited to this meeting.
So you received the letter and all the information, correct? So if you're interested, then you should submit your response form.
I did submit my response. I am the first one last month.
Okay, so we'll verify that it was received. I'll check with staff. And
Thank you.
as long as we have your response form, then we will send out an invitation letter.
Yes.
And at that time, for lot selection, you can
Yes.
attend or have your son proxy for you. Yeah?
Thank you so much. Yes, I
You're
want that to
welcome.
done. My next question, if you guys don't mind, one more question. My question is now, I'm kind of confused because I signed up for the residential 1993 and for agriculture, but somehow I was told to go into the pastoral because I would have got it on faster. So 2004, they changed from my agriculture to pastoral. So I'm asking right now, I'm confused. Is this a pastoral land, a residential that now be combined as a Kuleana? Because like the other person said, we know you're nothing about animal. So I'm kind of confused. Is this where I also have my 2 acres for residential 1993, and I'm looking for that in Lahaina. I'm waiting for that, but then now I got this one, so I'm kind of like confused. Is this pastoral, residential?
Yeah, so to what Julie was sharing earlier, if you're going to construct, it requires this particular offering as a pastoral. Construction will take you off both lists. Julie, did I share that? You have to build a house, is what Julie was saying, which means that's a residential lease. Julie, I want to make sure.
Then that, I just feel unfair because I've been waiting for 30 years, Julie, 1993 to get on my residential in Lahaina. Now you're telling me that if I go onto my pastoral, that's gonna be my residential?
You know, we can check with the AGs and just saying that it's required to have a house and to reside there. And I know
Okay.
that you can only have one house. So that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. But we can check with the Attorney General's office and be sure. I wanted
Yeah,
to
'cause I'm
mention
kind of
that on the
confused.
animals part, the pasture, they're looking at community pastures actually, more of a community kako kind of thing, instead of having everybody doing their individual, because it takes a lot to fence 10 acres by yourself.
You know,
So
I
they're
waited,
looking
I
at
waited,
using
Julie,
the natural
and,
gulches.
you know, I waited for what, since 2004. If this was the case, I would have been on already. You
Okay.
guys made me wait, and now you guys changing all the rules. I just feel this is unjust, unfair. But you know what? If I'm on this land,
Princess,
at least I got my foot in. That's all I got to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, no, Princess, you have
I hope you
shared.
understand, Paula.
I know. You've shared over the years. I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I got
Today,
another
we're gonna
question. I got another
focus.
question, Paula, concerning the rules. Now, you know, I've been reading all the rules. You guys put out all the rules. I read all you guys' rules, even the rules that you guys got now. I read all you guys' rules. But you know what? I confused. You know why? Whose rules are going to follow? DHHL, KOOK, or this new one that they have from Kahikinui? You know, you guys get so much rules for us. We don't even know who is the one that we should follow. Please help
Okay.
us on that.
So
Yes.
let me just summarize because it is 11:15
Thank you.
and people are starting to leave.
Thank
In
you for waiting.
summary,
Yes.
we have the administrative rules, which are designated through the department and approved by the governor and the state, right? So we follow those administrative rules. And then Cook, the community, has their own guidelines that they
Yes.
themselves
Yes.
create and agree to.
Yes. And we get now the other one, Kahikinui, with kind Julie. It's not Julie, but what her name now?
Yeah. So
Yeah. You know, they all get these different ones. So you know, hard for me because if I go on that land, my next question is if I get the list on the second, yeah, how soon can we go to begin the fencing? How
okay,
soon
so
can I
let
go?
me address that question as a last question. After we sign the leases on December 2nd,
Yes.
staff needs about 30 to 45 days to submit those leases for approval to the commission. So even though you're going to sign that day, once the commission approves, because they only meet once a month, then we will send out your copies for the lease through the awards team. And that will
Solid.
finalize the process. And then that lot is officially yours. Okay? So we're
Yep.
going to close out the meeting.
Thank you
Princess,
so
I
much.
know you
Aloha.
have a lot of questions.
Yee,
Princess,
aloha.
I'm sorry, Princess. We got to go.
Yes.
And if you have
Love
any more
you.
questions, you know my email and you
I
can
can
send
call
it to
you.
us. But I just
Hi,
wanna
can I just ask one question?
I'm sorry?
Can I just ask one question?
Okay.
How the sign up for
Okay.
the
We
site?
have one question online, one more gentleman here, and then Rapal, okay? And then I will put up the slide at the end that has the contact center phone number you folks can call for follow-up, okay? Go ahead on the line.
Thank you.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
hello.
please.
Hi. I just was asking what you just said. The sign up. How do we sign up?
for the site visit?
Yes.
Um, so, Michael, can you go back to the slide really fast? Right there. Okay, if you take a picture of this slide,
Oh,
you'll see
oh my gosh.
you'll see Julie Ann Cachola in number 3. You can email her and she'll get you on the sign up sheet.
All right. Thank you so much, Aloha.
You're welcome. And again, these slides are going to be online, hopefully by Wednesday. Gentlemen in the audience, and then we're going to close it out. Go ahead.
Velina mai kako me ke aloha pakahi a pau, wau o hana lei koli aro. I am a farmer. In regards, kalamai, hana lei koli aro, I am a farmer. I have a commercial hog farm. My question is in regards to having to live up there versus coming in as one producer for help take care of the pastoral part, like cattle, for example, or even on piggery. I do a type of farming where my pigs live in a warehouse and I pasture them outside, they birth outside, and then I put them inside one warehouse. They live on 4 feet of mulch, no more fly, no more smell. I don't have water issues where you gotta have a lagoon and stuff like that. So it's a doable system and eco-friendly. And we can take all that lepo and put them on the aina, and that's what we need right now after all these years of contaminating our soil, poisoning us and stuff like that. So we like come in and we like make the aina. True aloha aina is when you get microbial action happening in the soil. So as a farmer, I grow soil. Anything else that come out from that soil is a byproduct. Is it possible that I not live up there, but I can take on a lease in order to create a farm up there, in order to be able to utilize what cattle's Keokua will bless us with up there, however which way means the bugger will end up over there on the Hawaiian Homestead, and then let that benefit all our people. Currently, right now, we get one dilemma. We are in a state of emergency. I understand that. Since the fires of Lahaina, we've been harvesting pipi, we've been harvesting pua'a at my farm, and we've been distributing manuahi. Never cost nobody nothing. And we have resources up there that I think we can utilize that going to benefit not only the people, our people that live there, but the whole, all Maui. We need to feed our people. We need to feed our people. And, you know, one other thing, if water wasn't one issue, and I'm talking about technology kind of stuff, I'm not talking about putting something that's going to obstruct or hana ino our land or make heaven. But if there was a means of putting a water system up there that can generate, just like how you guys can use the screen, but we use one other hybrid technology where it can supply the whole subdivision, everybody, including power, and still run a farm that our whole community can benefit. I'm in there for a community. I'm not there for me. My time limited, just like you, but I'm going to do the biggest bang that I can do while I'm on this planet. So I like know if can lease the land or and help the community in that sense. But I don't can live up there because I already get one farm down in Waikapu that I got a malama, but we're going to expand that operation on all islands.
Right
But I
on.
don't think we should leave this island abandoned and hop, skip, and jump, do something someplace else if we're not going to just do more here first.
Right
So
on.
Maui first. That's what I'm all about.
Right on. I love innovation. I love when we're using our resources and improving it and looking at the future. I love that. And Kahikinui has been about that, right? So this is right up that alley. So there's a couple things that you can do. You can hook up with Kaleo and they can work a project. You saw the list of projects. That's just a small part of what they've done over the 25 years. They do a lot of innovative stuff like this, what you're talking about. If you're talking about hooking up with the department, you can email me. That was on the slide for the site visit, or talk to me after, because we do agricultural programs too. You know what I mean? And maybe we can look at integrating some of what you're talking about. So, mahalo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. With that, up on the slide, as a follow-up, contact center is a direct number to call, and they will route you to the appropriate person based on your question or questions. 808-620-9500. Our website, dhhl.hawaii.gov, as I mentioned earlier, if you go to that page and then you look for the lot and offers tab, click on that and you will see the Kahikinui offering. So mahalo everyone for your time today. I know it was a lot of information, but just soak it all in. And again, your response forms are due by Monday, postmarked. Mahalo everyone. Have a great Veterans Day. Aloha.